and talk about that sort of unexpected
Hmm.
kingship or coming of the kingdom is maybe most people will relate to like the suffering
Hmm.
servant of Isaiah
Hmm.
53. But would you say there's other aspects that Isaiah sort of like highlight of the
Hmm.
unexpectedness?
Yeah, I mean, one of the unexpected natures of what you see unfolding in Isaiah is about who are the insiders and who are the outsiders. Um, you you have this kind of theme throughout, is that those who um, you would think should be those in the know about God are actually deaf and blind. That's a theme throughout the book. But you begin to
Mm,
see Isaiah highlighting people who actually will be insiders that are currently considered outsiders. In Isaiah 56, it has
mm,
this beautiful passage where God says, don't let the foreigner say, I don't have a place with God. Don't let the eunuch say, I'm cut off from his house.
mm,
Now, typically, eunuchs weren't allowed to be in God's temple.
mm,
Foreigners were obviously considered not part of things. It said, but if they cling to me, hold fast to my covenant,
mm,
and so forth, um, he's saying they are going to have chief place in his house. And
mm,
simultaneously, you see God critiquing in those chapters the priests. He's critiquing the Israelites and Judahites who kind of are assuming that they're right with God
mm,
because they're Judahites. But he begins to use the language of my servants, representing all who kind of come in the wake of the suffering servant, and who in many ways are like the suffering servant, who come to
mm,
see in this kind of unexpected figure their very one who's put them right with God as his offspring. So I think that's kind of an unexpected element that Isaiah is working towards. One other example of that is the book opens with God saying, I'm fed up with your like new moon festivals and your Sabbaths. And obviously
mm,
speaking to an Israelite audience, but then at the end of the book, he envisions foreigners as being those who will be celebrating
mm,
Sabbath and the new moon. And
mm,
in no way should this be interpreted that God is going to reject Israel. Absolutely not. But what's central here
mm,
is that it's the faithful within Israel and it's the faithful outside of Israel who are God's servants. And he's calling for the people to turn to him and to see his plan of salvation unfolding, so that they can uh,
mm,
experience God's redemptive work.
mm. Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yes, that's why he talks about come to me and get water,
Oh,
clean
yeah.
water, rather than going to your broken cisterns.
Yeah. 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 I mean, one of the, yeah, he's in Isaiah 55, I think is what you're thinking of, where he's saying, stop
Mm,
spending money on the things that don't satisfy. Come to me
yeah.
and buy my food without money. He's saying, I'm not going to drain your account. Come
Mm,
to me, and you're going to find life in me. Um, and
mm,
one other kind of just crazy passage is Isaiah 19, where all of a sudden you see
mm,
Egypt and Assyria being referred to as God's people and God's inheritance, and so forth. And you're like, wow,
mm.
Isaiah is just, this could not have gone down very well when he was first proclaiming these prophecies. They're like, what? People in Egypt are going to be worshiping the Lord in their land. And it still holds Judah kind of as a blessing in the midst of Assyria and Egypt, but it very much speaks of these folks who've traditionally been thought of as their enemies, as those who would be included as the people of God. So it's Isaiah is just full of just tremendous rhetoric that's trying to help the people see, my heart for the world is a lot bigger than you realize, and B, don't presume upon your kind of heritage to think that you're right with me, that you're my people, because I'm the Holy One of Israel, and I will judge. Like I will even judge my own people.
Yeah, that's wild. I came to think about when Jesus talks about that there'll be a time when people worship in spirit and truth rather than on a particular place. That I was thinking that maybe that was Isaiah sort of predicting in that, like saying that people from the enemies, they will even see the light.
Yeah.
They will know God.
It's such a striking moment where she's wondering, okay, does being connected to Mount Gerizim as opposed to Jerusalem, is that like going to be is that an issue? He's like, oh, well, I mean, the Jews do worship correctly, but you guys don't. But there's this also reality that, the Father's seeking worshipers in spirit and in truth, and it's not geographically bound. And that's going to become increasingly clear, especially during the time of the apostles, when the gospel spreads, the Spirit spreads, and it's a beautiful outworking that we see of Isaiah's hopes.
Thank you for watching this clip. If you enjoyed it, you can find another one by clicking just over here. Or if you want to watch the full episode and dive a step deeper, you can find a link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.